Hello, welcome back to Oracle PL SQL tutorial. Uh, in this tutorial, let's start with your problem. So the problem it's given here is you are asked to generate a random number between 100 and 1000, and if the random number generated is even, then insert that value, whatever that value, to a table called even underscore tab. So we have a predefined table which is even underscore tab, which has one column which is let's say called val, and that is a number variable. And also we have another table called even, so another called odd underscore tab, and that is also have one column called val. So how do you approach this problem? Okay, the problem is very simple. Generate a random number between 100 and 1000, and whatever random number is generated, find out if it is even or odd. If it is even, insert into even underscore tab. If it is odd, then insert into odd underscore tab. So to solve this problem, we can basically use this simple PL SQL anonymous block, and so this is a PL SQL anonymous block. And in this PL SQL anonymous block, first step what we did, we generate a random number by calling a function called dbms underscore random dot value. We input two parameter, 100 and 100,000, and then it gives me an output which is I store in variable x. Then using this piece of code, I determine if that x is a even number or odd number. Then in this piece of code, I'm going to insert based on whatever I determine in the previous step. I insert into the table. So this anonymous block is going to help us to solve this problem, but we need to figure out if this is a optimal solution. So let's say after that I ask you another question. The question is, can you tell me if 78 is a even number or odd number? Then what you can do, you can create another anonymous block, and that anonymous block is going to take an input parameter, and then probably whatever you have done in this piece of code, you can you copy this piece of code and create another anonymous block, and that is going to give me as an even number or odd number. So what you are doing, you are repeating this piece of code two times, one in the first anonymous block and in second anonymous block. So instead of that, can we make use of whatever code we have written? So for the first problem, we have written this piece of code. So is there any possibility that we can reuse this piece of code and answer the second question? The question number 2 is 78 is an even number or odd number? Okay, so if you see, this code does three things, three tasks. Task 1, generate a random number. Task 2, find out if number is even. Task 3, insert into table based on whatever the output of task 2. That if task 2 returns that it's an even number, then we can put into even underscore tab. If task 2 returns for the number is odd, then we are going to put into odd underscore tab. So therefore, instead of writing this monolithic code, what we can do, we can modularize this code into three different subprograms. Number one, maybe this is a function that I I give two numbers, and that two numbers is going to give me a random number between two. Then second thing, also a function. That function is going to take a number. If that function is even, then it's going to return me boolean true. Then task 3 is, let's say basically I give two numbers, and then inside that task 3 I'm going to call this task 1 to first find out a random number, and second I'm going to call task 2 to find out what kind of is even number or odd number, and then I'm going to insert into the table. And so this can be a procedure. So these are functions, right? So essentially what we are trying to do, you can answer question number 2 now. If you do this way, then just by calling this function, you can, this function is going to give a, input as a number, and then it will going to tell me if it's a even or odd. Okay, so now question number 2 can be solved. Also question number 1 can be solved. Okay, but here is a very simple case. If you say that, it's a very simple problem that I gave you, and this is just I tried just to explain you the concept. But whenever in the real life enterprise application consisting of HR application or supply chain application and so on, we might have thousands or 10,000s of this kind of procedures and functions or kind of subprograms that can occur. So in that case, it is better to organize those. Let's say out of this 10,000, maybe 500 of them are of same kind of application, or they are doing logically related things. Then organize those subprograms which does logically related things into a container and bundle them together in a container, and that container is called a package. So essentially in this video we are going to discuss about how to create a package and what are the advantages of package and how we execute those packages to get these answers. Okay, so using package we are going to solve this problem. All right, so first thing is that to create a package, you need to open up a notepad or somewhere where I can write some PL SQL commands. And first thing is, to create a package we need to create a specification. So specification contains what kind of functions and procedures this package is going to have. Then we have body, where we implement the functions and procedures whatever we declare in the spec. The spec is compulsory, whereas body is optional. That means we can have a package. That package may not have a body. That is called bodiless package. We are going to discuss about those things in the next video. Alright. So to create a spec, what we need to do, we need to write this command, create package. Let's say the package name is XYZ as. Then just declare the functions and procedure. Function f1, say p1 number, so it takes a number parameter and returns number, and then say another is procedure p1, so p1 says takes procedure p1 takes one parameter, say p2 number, and that's it. And then I can say end XYZ. So with this I have created a package specification named XYZ. Then I will run this thing on my SQL plus command, so that I will create this package in the database. The same way that you created the procedure and function, the same way you are going to create this package spec XYZ. Once this has been done, what I can do to create the package body, I just give create package body XYZ as. Then here is this function f1, say p1 number, and whatever this thing. Then here I have going to implement the function begin and using begin and end, and here I'm going to write PL SQL statements. Then once I'm done with function f1, I'm going to create another procedure called p1, and again I'm going to write a begin and end, and within that begin and end I'm going to implement the logic of procedure p1. So then I'm going to execute this one in SQL Plus, and then if the execution is successful, compiled, then I have created package XYZ. Spec and body both are created. Alright. So this is the basic things about creating a PL SQL package. So now let's go to basically, instead of using Notepad, we can also use tools like SQL Developer. In this case, I'm going to create using SQL Developer. I'm going to show you the demo and demo package to solve this problem that whatever we started. So here is my demo package, and this is the spec. So I say create or replace package, and then the package name is demo package as. Then I have three functions. My first function is called get underscore random underscore number, is going to take two parameters, p underscore start underscore num, p underscore end underscore num, and is going to return a number. Then function is even is going to take an input number and is going to return a boolean value. Again, procedure insert number is going to take two parameters. And so this is with this, if I compile this thing, I have created the spec which I have already created. Then I'm going to show you what is the body. So here is the body. Then create or replace package. Then I have to give body here. For the spec you don't have to give anything, but in case of body you have to write this keyword body. Package name is demo package. Then here is the implementation of function get underscore random underscore number. So what get underscore random underscore number does, it calls a PL SQL function called, a system defined PL SQL function called dbms underscore random dot value. It gets two input parameter, and then it calculate a random value between these two, and then return to L underscore num. So whatever I get L underscore num, I am going to return that to the color of this function called get underscore random underscore number. Then here is the implementation of is underscore even, and then same, whatever we wrote in anonymous block, we just package it and plug them inside this function. Then we have implementing the procedure called insert underscore number. Insert underscore number takes two values, p underscore num1 and p underscore num2. Okay, and what we are trying to do, we are first calling our function called get underscore random number, so which is up here. Okay, so get underscore random number going to take two parameters, p underscore num1, p underscore num2. Then I am calling the function is underscore even, and whatever value I got here I am going to give it to here. If it's even number, then this is going to give me true, and then this insert is going to be executed. Okay, so here's a detail about the procedure implementation, but we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so what we have, we compile this thing, and after we compile this thing, what we can do, we can execute. If this compilation is successful and all these things, then we can execute this program on SQL Plus using this command. So here is SQL Plus. What we can do, we can call the package dot the procedure. The procedure insert underscore number is the procedure which basically do all this thing, right? So therefore question number one, like this problem, whatever I ask, this can be solved right now by calling this this is the package called demo package, by calling the procedure insert underscore number, and then whatever parameters you give, you just give two parameters, it will insert based on whatever random value it got. You will decide it's an even number or odd number, and then it's going to insert into appropriate table. The question number 2, whatever we asked you to give me if number 89 is even or odd. So now you can do that by calling this function called is even. Is even, just put 89. If it's going to give you true, that means it's a even, or if it's going to false, just odd number. Then if I ask you, can you find me a random number between another two number? Yes, you can do by get underscore random underscore number by calling this package. So what we have done here, we have modularized the monolithic code that you've seen in this anonymous block into three things. One is getting a random number, second thing is getting even or odd, third thing is to insert. So essentially, if you determine what are the independent task units, then you write using procedure and functions and then put them inside one container, and that container is called a package, so that it will be much easier for you to work on. Since a modularized program, then your job is much more easier from maintenance point of view, from readability point of view. Okay, the last thing that we want just to quickly discuss about advantages of package. First thing that we got modularity. Second thing we got is ease of maintenance and and readability, that I can read properly now. Like instead of debugging one monolithic piece of code, I can now debug it one by one. And number 3 is that code hiding. So this is a very important feature which is we are going to cover in the next video. So essentially, you can create a private member of the package. By creating a private member of the package, you do not need to tell anybody what is the spec. Even you can wrap the package content so that nobody can see what is basically going on. You just talk in terms of APIs. You tell them that these are the APIs, these are the functions, these are the parameters that you put, and these are the parameters you get out. Number 4 is that we are doing overloading. We can do overloading. So we are going to discuss about this thing in another video, like how function overloading happen or procedure overloading happen in a PL SQL package. Number 5 is most important, is performance. So what is the most important thing here is that whenever you call the package for the first time, the entire package body is going to be loaded to the system global area of Oracle. So since the compiled code is already loaded into the system global area, therefore calling the subsequent function, procedure is less time consuming. So this is why you are going to use package, and in fact all your real life code is based on package. An example of your package, you have already used a lot of system provided package like dbms underscore output dot put line. Like another package we just use here in our current code is to get dbms underscore random. This is a package name. In that package name we have a procedure called value. That value is going to return me a random number. So all these things are there, and all this is implemented in package, and package is the most important thing from PL SQL point of view. You are going to basically deal with package for any real life project.